Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we turn your curiosity into, well, expertise you can actually use.
Exactly. And today, we are setting our sights not on the flashiest new flagship, but on something I think is a lot more interesting.
The mid-range sweet spot, it's where the real value is.
We're zeroing in with a lot of precision on a very specific model, the Samsung Galaxy A36 5G, specifically the 8 gig RAM, 256 gig storage model.
In that awesome white color, and maybe most importantly for our discussion, at a grade B plus refurbishment rating.
Yeah, that B+ is key.
It really is. It introduces what we're calling the B plus paradox. So our mission today is to figure out why this combination, a mid-range phone that's, already been used a bit, manages to feel so much better than its status suggests.
Right. It feels surprisingly refined, robust even.
For you listening, this is really the shortcut to understanding where smart money gets you a high-quality, everyday workhorse of a phone.
Precisely. We're here to decode that balance. I mean, can you get that blend of performance and modern features without paying top dollar? And what's the actual real-world trade-off with that B+ grade?
Okay, let's unpack this, starting right where you first meet the device, the physical feel of it. The feedback we've seen is that this phone just doesn't feel like a budget compromise. That awesome white finish is clean, it's minimalist.
It's that classic Samsung polish, it comes through even here. Even when they're using more affordable materials, their engineering just gives it a solid, reassuring feel in the hand.
It doesn't flex or rattle or anything like that.
Not at all. It maintains a structural integrity that frankly separates it from the really cheap alternatives.
But let's get right to the elephant in the room, that B plus grade. For someone shopping, that signals, prior use. How does that really translate to holding and using it?
That's the big question.
Am I risking some big, ugly scratch?
Well, not based on the definition we're seeing. B+ means minor cosmetic stuff. Think superficial wear and tear that doesn't affect the function at all.
Okay.
So,
Like a tiny scuff mark you have to hunt for.
exactly. You might find a hairline scratch on the body or a faint mark if you catch the light just right. You really have to be looking for it. It's not something you'd constantly feel under your thumb when you're scrolling.
Ah.
Absolutely not. The value here is that you're sacrificing that absolute out-of-the-box, pristine perfection for, well, significant savings.
And the actual build quality remains solid.
It does. And the screen is usually near perfect anyway. You're trading that idea of perfection for real tangible value. That B+ gives it a bit of character, and that character is literally the price difference.
Character that saves you hundreds. I like that. Okay, let's move on to the component that makes this A36 feel premium, the display. If Samsung has one area they just don't miss, it's this.
Oh, without a doubt. The display is the standout feature, full stop. It's the main reason this device punches so far above its weight. Samsung makes the best panels, and they consistently let that quality trickle down to their A series.
So what are we talking about technically? We're told it's bright, vibrant, and it just makes everything look better.
We're talking about a Super AMOLED panel, and critically, it has a smooth 120 Hz refresh rate.
Okay, that's huge.
It is. That combination of perfect blacks from the AMOLED and the fluid motion from 120 Hz.
Yeah.
That's what creates the high-end feel. Scrolling, animations, it's all just buttery smooth. And the colors are accurate, not just jacked up and oversaturated like on cheaper screens.
The whole experience starts with that top-tier screen.
Exactly. The screen is the gateway, and the A36's gateway is premium.
That smoothness is essential, especially when we talk about the engine driving it. Let's shift to performance, which is usually where mid-range phones stumble. It runs on an Exynos chip, which is fine, but
All right.
where's that 8 GB of RAM become absolutely crucial?
That 8 gigs of RAM is the entire safety net for this phone. The Exynos 1280 is a decent power-efficient chip, but it is not a speed demon.
Right.
And Samsung's One UI software, while it's really intuitive, is also known for being a bit memory-hungry compared to, say, stock Android.
So what would happen if this phone only had 6 GB of RAM? What would I actually experience?
You'd hit bottlenecks all the time, especially when multitasking. Apps would constantly get kicked out of memory, so you'd have these slow reloads when you switch from your social feed back to Spotify, for instance.
Okay.
The 8 gigs just ensures One UI has the headroom it needs to run smoothly to keep your apps ready to go.
Yeah.
It's a direct compensation for the mid-range processor.
I see. So the 8 GB of RAM is less about raw speed and more about just sustained, frustration-free consistency.
That's the perfect way to put it. For the 95% of tasks most people do, browsing, messaging, some light gaming, it achieves remarkable consistency.
Okay, let me pause you there. Why wouldn't a shopper in this price bracket just buy an older flagship, like a refurbished Galaxy S21?
That's a really important question. The S21 would have a faster processor, for sure, but the A36 has two huge advantages. First, that 256 GB of storage, which is often really expensive or hard to find on older
Give me a
flagships.
second.
And second, crucially, the A36 is a newer model. That means better battery life expectations and, this is key, guaranteed software support for much longer than an S21. You're investing in endurance and longevity, not just raw speed.
Longevity and storage. Got it. Let's talk about the 5G in the name.
Right. 5G connectivity is standard, of course. When you're in a good coverage area, you get those fast downloads, smooth video calls. But what's probably more important day to day is the stable 4G performance.
Hmm.
Even on just standard 4G, the modem in this thing performs really consistently. No random dropouts like you see on truly budget phones. Again, it's that theme of consistency.
Okay, moving to the camera. This is often the first thing to get sacrificed to hit a price point. We need to set some realistic expectations here.
Yeah, let's be real about it. The camera system is good for the price point. It's
Yeah.
a utility, it's consistent, but it is definitely not flagship level.
But the main lens is decent.
The main lens is very capable, yeah. In good daylight, you're going to get clear, detailed shots. Samsung's image processing does a nice job of making colors pop and managing the exposure.
So what are the limits? Where does it fall short?
The second the light drops, you'll see noise creep in. The dynamic range starts to struggle. That's where you see the savings. If you put it side by side with, say, a Pixel 7a in low light, the Pixel's computational photography is just going to win.
Ah, okay.
But the A36 gives you a more versatile setup with a main, an ultra-wide, and a macro lens. The ultra-wide and macro are more for fun, but that main camera is a perfectly good point-and-shoot for your social media and everyday pictures.
It's a versatile tool, not an artistic one. Makes sense. And since we're on endurance and consistency, let's just confirm the battery life.
Endurance is strong. It has a big 5,000 mAh battery, which, when you combine it with that power-efficient chip, means this phone easily lasts a full day.
Even with heavy use.
Even with moderate to heavy use, yeah. We're talking hours of YouTube, messaging, Spotify, without needing to hunt for a charger.
And if you are that power user, how fast can you get it back up?
It has 25W fast charging support, so if you do push it hard, you can get from almost empty to about 50% battery in roughly 30 minutes.
That's quick enough.
Yeah, it means you don't feel tethered to a wall. It's another one of those high-end features that's now common in this value category.
Which brings us to the software that pulls all this together. Samsung's One UI. This is where that 8 GB of RAM really earns its keep, but it's also the interface you live with every day.
One UI is a critical part of the package. It's Samsung's take on Android, and our sources all confirm it's one of the most user-friendly interfaces out there. It's clean, intuitive, and really functional.
I sometimes hear people say Samsung software is bloated compared to, say, a Pixel. Is that still a concern?
It's less bloated than it used to be, but it is definitely feature-heavy. The good thing is there's almost no learning curve. You can use it right out of the box, and it's super straightforward.
And if you're switching from another brand?
If you're coming from another Samsung, it's instantly familiar. If you're coming from pure Android, you just gain features like better multitasking. The software is consistent, and it doesn't create any friction, which links right back to that promise of reliability.
And software support. How long will this A36 get updates?
This is a huge win for Samsung in the mid-range. They've committed to 4 generations of OS upgrades and 5 years of security patches for many of these A-series phones.
Wow, 5 years.
Yeah. It means that longevity we talked about is officially guaranteed by software support. You aren't buying a phone that's going to be obsolete in 2 years.
This has been incredibly clarifying. We started with this specific used device, the Galaxy A36 5G, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 of storage, grade B plus over. Let's just synthesize the core value proposition for everyone listening.
Okay. So we've confirmed that this phone, despite the B+ grade, which is just superficial wear, delivers a really strategic balance. The key is that 8 GB of RAM smoothing out the mid-range processor paired with that fantastic 120 Hz AMOLED display.
Plus the huge storage, long software support, and solid battery life.
Exactly.
It really sounds like the quintessential phone for the practical user. Someone who wants a great screen and reliability over, benchmark scores and a perfect metal body.
That's it. If you value a powerful screen experience and reliable, sustained performance for all your daily stuff, and you're okay with a few character marks, this specific A36 configuration is just Excellent value.
It feels premium where it matters most for the daily experience.
Precisely.
Fantastic insight. It really raises a fascinating final thought for you to consider.
Yeah.
If best-in-class display quality and essential features like fast charging and 5G are now standard in value-focused phones like this, where does the true dividing line between a premium smartphone and a value one actually lie today?
Yeah, it makes you ask if you're paying for real-world function or just for status and raw power you'll probably never use.
Something to think about until our next deep dive.